Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Newscast. It's Friday, so here's all of your retro gaming and retro handheld. Hold on, I forgot it all. It's Friday. Here's your retro handhelds, retro gaming, and gaming news. Look, it's been a while since I've had to do this, so I've probably forgotten a lot of things, but we'll get there as I start to go along. For those that haven't seen the video, I have been gone for a few weeks thanks to YouTube. I put it up on podcasts, actually, the video I made about what happened and everything. So you probably got it if you're listening to this through podcast form instead of video form, in which case you don't get to see this beautiful face. But let's talk about news today, because that's what everybody's waiting for. I didn't realize that the newscast was so popular with a lot of people. I got a lot of people that were like, I missed the newscast, which was surprising to me because I didn't really know that a lot of people loved it. So thank you to everybody who supports the newscast every week. We're back. Let's talk about news. Shad PS4. The PS4 emulator has version 0.15 out. And it's a big one, it seems like. It's improving compatibility and the user experience. It is also recommended that you use 0.15 because there's going to be a lot of breaking changes that are going to be coming into 0.15.1. Probably should be saying 15, but you know what I mean. I looked over the actual changes and yeah, it just looks like a lot of actual compatibility updates and things like that. They added some missing hotkeys. Nothing crazy, nothing that stood out to me, but if you are using Shad PS4, the PS4 emulator, I've done a guide on this, but if you are using it, you probably want to update. Then we have Game Native version 0.8.1. And honestly, Game Native has done a lot of updates. I have a video that I'm working on for Game Native. It's coming up pretty soon. But with this update, the big change is adding Steam Achievements support, which is pretty big. I actually didn't realize this was missing, but yeah, they're adding Steam Achievement support. I also installed this. I was working on a video a month ago before the whole YouTube thing. They have made a lot of changes in the last month. For example, one of the changes that they didn't have before was using the known config automatically. Nowadays, it's actually using the known config before you boot up the game, which is super useful. There are a few other changes, quite a bit of changes here. Nothing that really stood out, again, once to me. The big change here was the Steam Achievements, but installing the prerequisites like VC Redist and all that stuff, there's a lot of changes here that are really good. So Game Native continues to be probably the best option now for PC games on Android, I think, from my limited testing. Eden version 0.2.0, release candidate 2, is now out. This one includes a lot of performance improvements and graphical fixes. So they fixed Breath of the Wild not displaying the correct game name. There's also a bunch of JIT and memory performance improvements. VSync is now disabled if turbo mode is active, and they fixed some audio in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, which I don't know why that's funny to me, but it is funny to me. If you're going to be using Eden to play Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, then sure. There are a lot of other fixes here. I was trying to look at what's more Android related, just bugs and things like that. Just, again, big update. A lot of things here, a lot of changes, nothing that really kind of stood out to me. My favorite news of the week, Dolphin has gotten an update to version 2603. Well, 2603A with a hotfix after this. The biggest change, at least for me, was the addition of Wii RetroAchievements. That's right. Yep. Yesterday, Wii RetroAchievements went live, which means you can now play on Android and PC and whatever Wii games and earn some retro achievements. It's my favorite news of the week. But obviously it's a big update, so there's also other updates. The biggest thing here that they're mentioning is they're doubling the performance of Rogue Squadron 3, which I think a lot of us know, one of the harder games to emulate, and looks like they've helped quite a bit here. There is a whole bunch of other stuff here for Dolphin, but again, the biggest thing, Wii Retro Achievements. Let's play some games. Azahar, the 3DS emulator, has had a few updates in the last month. Notably, they've all been release candidates, which means that you haven't seen them if you're following only the stable builds. Nothing's been out for a while, but they've been updating on like a weekly, daily basis here. As far as I can tell, the biggest updates here that you would want to know about is the fact that Azahar is now available as a core in RetroArch. So which means if you want to use Azahar in RetroArch, you can. I am not certain what the performance is like. I have actually not tried it. I can't imagine it is very good, but it is something that I should check out. So if you want to play with it, you definitely can. It's a RetroArch core. You have to check out the release candidate options to see what it looks like. However, the big change that is coming is them adding a disk shader cache for all of the compiled shaders. This means that this should help with not having that shader stutter that happens in Azahar as often. They're trying to get rid of that as much as possible. That means that's something that's showing up pretty soon. They've also said that you can copy those shader files to different devices to benefit from the reduced stutter. So this is all good stuff. I know one of the biggest negatives to Azahar from a lot of people is that shader stutter and shader compiling. This should help quite a bit. Honestly, there's a lot of big updates here that are coming with integer scaling. I thought I saw that there was a per game settings option somewhere. There's new hotkey enable button bind, so you can do combo hotkeys finally. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So get ready. Azahar is going to have a very big update pretty soon. The last thing they need is RetroAchievements. Come on, Azahar. GameHub Lite has been updated to version 5.1.4. This adds RTS touch controls, and what that means is you can tap to click, drag for box selection, you can do a whole bunch of different things. There's a whole bunch of gestures that you can actually do. I don't know if this is only for the Thor or if this means on anything on the screen. I'm guessing it means anything on the screen. You could probably just map it to be an actual cursor. So that's pretty cool. If you're using GameHub Lite, you probably want to update and get this new feature. Last on the software news for today, and we finally got some rules for what Android sideloading is going to look like under the new, new regime, new rules, whatever it is. So it is actually pretty simple. I looked this up. You have to enable developer mode, which you tap build number 7 times, and then you get developer mode. It's pretty easy. You then have to reboot the device, apparently, which, sure. And after you reboot, you can install an app after 24 hours. There's a 24-hour period. So that seems super easy if this is the true actual rules of what you need to do, which I looked up a few different areas. They were all the same thing. It's basically enable developer mode, and then you can install whatever you want. So, okay. I mean, honestly, yeah, it's good that these are the only rules. I mean, it would have been great to have none of this, but if this is the true rules, then it's not really a big deal at all to anybody. Okay, so question of the week, and you probably can guess what I'm going to ask, but with Wii RetroAchievements being live this week, what Wii games are you excited to play? What's on your list? What would you love to go back to? Obviously, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 is going to be the number 1 and 2 for a lot of people. I didn't have a Wii, so for me, this is like experience everything for the very first time. I had a Wii U, but not the Wii. I was one of those people. For me, I was excited to play Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, and I tried it last night and it was broken. Apparently it's fixed today, so I'm going to probably get back to that. But there's a lot of games that I really, really want to play, like Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. I have played a little bit of, I've actually never finished, so I want to get to those. I bought a whole Dolphin bar and Wiimote, so I actually bought the Wiimote, the Nunchuck, and the Dolphin bar. I have it on my monitor. Probably going to film something with that, we'll see. But that, if there's anybody out there that wants to experience Wii perfectly or like how it's meant to be, I highly suggest it. You could do the whole stupid dual candles thing or a sensor bar for $5 or whatever. I found that the Dolphin bar, which is like $30 or whatever it is perfect. It's plug and play with both PC and Android. I was playing on the Thor and it all works. You literally just plug it in, you turn the settings to real Wiimote, and you use your Wiimote on Android and PC. It couldn't be easier. So yeah, for me, there's a lot of Wii games that I want to experience for the very first time. Boom Blocks is one I want to go back to because I remember playing that with friends a long time ago, and I just want to throw some balls at some bricks and have them fall down. So let me know in the comments, what are you excited to play for Wii RetroAchievements? If you're not going to be playing RetroAchievements and you absolutely hate it, then just don't bother. Just make up your own question of the week. But for everybody else who wants to play Wii games, what do you want to play? Okay, and we have an update now on the Anbernic RG Vita and Vita Pro pricing, which it's been like 2 months for this. I don't know what took them so long to release pricing, but we have final pricing here. Thanks to Retro Handhelds for this one, who got the scoop on this. Anbernic RG Vita is going to be $100 for the first 72 hours. Then it goes up to $110 retail. Anbernic RG Vita Pro is $140. It goes up to $150 retail after 72 hours. I don't know how to say this and be nice, but that's awful pricing. The Vita Pro especially, that's terrible. $150 with the RG476H right there, actually probably cheaper in a lot of cases on AliExpress, but right there in like the 160, 170 range. No, I don't see why you would buy an RG Vita Pro for that price. The RG Vita is competing with the Magni Air X. It's competing with the Magic X 135. It's competing with the AYN Pocket Air Mini. It's competing with those. The problem is the Magni Air X is still cheaper because you can't count on the early bird price. Like that's 72 hours and then it's gone. So when you're talking about pricing as a reviewer, at least we're going to talk about retail pricing. But the Magni Air X is still a better purchase, in my opinion, than that. Like, I'm not going to sit there and wait 2.5 to 3 hours for this thing to charge and then play it for 3 hours and have it. It's the RGDS situation all over again. So for me, I don't see the reason this exists. I don't see the reason why you would buy one of these. I keep going back to the fact that we had a Retroid Pocket 2S 3 years ago now. It's been 3 years. That was, before it died, it was $79, $89, $99. Those are the three price ranges of what the 2S was. We are now 3 years later with a device that has the same chipset, with worse charging, better screen, worse software, and it is more expensive than what the 2S was 3 years ago. And sure, yeah, RAM went up, storage went up, all that sort of thing, but it is absolutely crazy in this hobby how you can get away with buying devices and just holding on to them and using them, because they're going to be better in a lot of cases than what's coming out new. Aside from the higher end devices, that's where changes have really been made. On these lower end devices, it's been rough sailing. So anyways, I obviously don't like the Vita and Vita Pro here for pricing, and I don't really like the devices either. But if you've been curious about what pricing is, that's what it is. It's $100 and $140 for early bird, $110 and $150 for retail pricing. And not to be outdone, Anbernic is one-upping Anbernic by showing off a new device that is a small square screen with just an actual touchscreen of whatever you can do, and then you flip it up and it has controls on the bottom. So you kind of have like a vertical with a hidden actual control scheme that pops up. And that's a little weird. I don't know why you would want one of these. Maybe I know a lot of people use these for music players, and I'm going to do the Blizzard thing of like, do you not have phones? But also, do you not have phones? But sure, I can see maybe that being useful as like a music player, and then you turn it into a game sort of thing, but there's going to be compromises there. I don't know. This doesn't do anything for me personally, what this looks like. For those of you on audio, you might want to look up a picture of this, but it's basically just imagine a square with a touchscreen, and then you flip it up and there's controls on the bottom. And then you can flip it down and it hides them. So like an RG slide, except it flips up like a circle. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but that's what it looks like. Yeah, I don't know what this is called. I don't know what this is. This is just a first early prototype of whatever this is. So they're doing weird things. Next up, we have some news from Retroid, and I saw the funniest meme about this. Nowadays, when you see Retroid pings, or when you get a Retroid ping, it's all doom and gloom. Before, it used to be all happy and excitement. Like you get a Retroid ping, oh, it's a new device, awesome, cool. Now it is all doom and gloom. I'm going to throw up the meme because it was pretty funny. But anyways, Retroid let everybody know that due to ongoing fluctuations in memory pricing, the RPG2, or Retroid Pocket G2, will be temporarily discontinued. And they say that the RP5 will not be affected, and maybe you should go buy the RP5, which is a weird statement to make, but sure. The RP6 is right there, but sure, go buy the RP5, I guess. But looking ahead, apparently, the Retroid Pocket Classic is going to see a price increase up to $150, which I think, if I remember correctly, was $129 before, or $124. So it's going up quite a bit. That is it. That's the only changes that are apparently happening. Everything else seems to be staying the same. And that's kind of the news here. We are probably going to be seeing a Retroid device pretty soon. Actually, 2 devices pretty soon in the next month or 2, if I had to guess. I know there are 2 devices that they've been teasing through different avenues. It seems like probably a 4x3 OLED is one of the guesses, and the other one is probably a flip of some sort. So 4x3 OLED, flip, par for the course of what a device manufacturer this year will make. So we'll see what that looks like and what those pricings will look like because, yeah, a lot of manufacturers are kind of staying away from releasing things nowadays because of pricing. So we'll see what that all looks like from Retroid pretty soon. But yeah, RPG 2 discontinued, which I don't want to say I told you so because I didn't, but a lot of times when I say months ago, or one of the things I said months ago was that I didn't expect the G2 to stay around after the RP6. For whatever reason, if it is memory fluctuations that it's being discontinued this time, but I didn't expect it to stay around after the RP6. It was always going to be a temporary thing for the holiday of 2025. And then I fully expected that it would be gone after that. Took a little bit longer than I thought, but it's gone. They can say memory fluctuations if they want. That's probably true and probably the real reason. But this was probably always the plan, if I had to guess, because why keep it around if the RP6 is right there and that's your flagship device? Doesn't really make sense. Anyways, that's what's happening. For those of you that have not bought the AYN Odin 2 Portal, which I don't know who's missed out on this last month, but it is still for sale at $249 for the base Portal. Still a screaming deal. Still the best deal that you can get in handheld gaming. So if for whatever reason you have not bought one, and for whatever reason you're in the market still, you probably should get one. Now, I would still suggest there's the AYN Thor, there's the Odin 2 Portal. You have to make a decision on whether you want pocketability and portability over a more complete device like the Odin 2 Portal is, but you can't go wrong with either. AYN is kind of running away with this. So yeah, if you don't have the Odin 2 Portal, still for sale, $249. I still suggest it. So yeah, grab one if you don't have one. But I guess I should mention, because it's something that's come up since the last time it went up for sale, there are a lot of people still waiting for their original orders on the Odin 2 Portal. This rubs me the wrong way a little bit. Why throw it up for sale if you don't have stock? Also, be a little bit more communicative with what's going on with there, because there's a lot of people waiting since like January still. We're now near the end of March. That is a long time to be waiting for an Odin 2 Portal. So just be aware if you do buy one of these, you might be waiting a little bit long for it. Now, thankfully, with the state of the year and what's happening, doesn't really matter. I mean, you're not going to get something better and everything's going up in price, so you might as well lock in now, but you should be aware that there is going to be some time before you receive it, it seems like. Speaking of the Portal, and this time the PlayStation Portal, they have finally added 1080p high quality mode, and they've changed a whole bunch of refinements for the actual UI and everything. You might be wondering, why am I mentioning this? We don't really talk about the PlayStation Portal on the newscast or anything on here. The reason being, I was thinking about this a while ago, and I never actually did a video on it, and I probably should. You could technically buy a PlayStation Portal, get their highest tier of PlayStation Plus, and that's it. And you can play whatever you want. Like all of their PlayStation 5 games can be streamed. I think it's missing like a few, but for the most part, all of them are there. You don't need a PlayStation 5 Pro. You don't need an actual console. You could technically use a PlayStation Portal, stream them all from Sony servers. As long as you have good Wi-Fi, you're going to have a good time. So I thought about that because that is pretty cool to me, in all honesty. Like I know that it's very, very expensive, the PS Plus subscription. The PlayStation Portal is pretty cheap. It's like 200 Canadian dollars, whatever it is. But that seemed really cool to me that you could do that. So you could have a handheld experience, PlayStation experience right now if you wanted to by just the subscription and the actual device. So it's pretty cool. I have seen a lot of updates to this thing over the last months and things like that. So it doesn't seem like PlayStation is throwing it out to die. They are updating it, like the 1080p mode here and adding some quality improvements to the UI. So if you are interested in a PlayStation Portal, might be the time to grab one. And that's it for news. So let's talk about our games of the month, which is Sly Cooper for PlayStation 2. That's our game of the month. I beat that. It's actually pretty good. It was pretty short too, about 6 hours or so. It was fun. I did it on stream. Pokemon Renegade Platinum is our ROM hack of the month. It's a DS ROM hack of Platinum, and it is a difficulty-based one. So you're going to be grinding a lot. I fell off of this one pretty quickly. Difficulty ROM hacks aren't really for me, but if you want to play it, you can grab it. And also, our games of the season, which is going to be ending this month, is Golden Sun 1 and 2. I am almost done Golden Sun 2. I'm a third of the way, so not almost done, but whatever. I did Golden Sun 1, but Golden Sun 2, I'm in my, I'm near halfway, not almost done. But anyways, those are our games of the month. If that sounds cool to you, come join the Discord. We are playing these games, and we're going to be voting on our next games of the month pretty soon, next week. So come join. As always, we end off the newscast with the newscast Q&A. So you can send in your questions on the Discord. There's a channel there, newscast Q&A, or you can send an email to newscast@joeysretrohandhelds.com. I have some questions here that were from a month ago that I never got to do because I wasn't here. Let's start with a question from Anubis. You talk all the time about how the AYN Thor changed the way you game because you can see guides while playing now. My question is, where do you find the good guides? Specifically, the 100% guides. I know for old games, there's game facts, but for newer games, I find it hard to find useful and complete guides. So, I'm a bit different. I would love for there to be a website that is not 100% guides. I would love for there to be a website that's just, here is how you get from start to main story finish without having to pick up these little potions and things all over the way. Like, that is my type of guide, but nobody makes that, right? But that would be the guide that I want. Now, as for good guides, I actually don't use game facts at all. I find it hard without pictures, and I find it hard without like actual font that's not like typing font and all of that. So I use, it's called Game8. If they have a guide, I really like it usually because they have pictures and all of that. Sometimes I'll use IGN. Most of the times I'm just Googling whatever the game and guide or walkthrough, and then whatever site I find. But Game8, if they have one, that's my first choice. IGN, usually pretty good, and then I'll figure it out from there. But yeah, there's a lot of good ones for like Zelda. Like Zelda Dungeon is a good site. And then Final Fantasy has Jagged, I think it's called. So there are other sites too, but yeah, that's kind of where I look. Next question comes in from Super Bottle. What's your favorite game archetype? Favorite style for gameplay? Favorite archetype for character? I probably should look up what archetype means here. What do you mean, genre? Is that should I look up what archetype means, or should I just guess? Let's go with guess. Favorite style for gameplay? Turn-based, probably. Strategy RPG, those types of games. That's for me. Favorite archetype for character? I mean, you gotta have range, right? Like I have a problem with the games that are like, and we beat him with the power of love. Like, that's not my type of game. Like, I want to see people die. Like, I want to see consequences. I want like actual stakes in my story. So, favorite archetype for character? If I'm guessing, hold on. You know what? We're gonna do this. I'm gonna type in archetype because I feel like I'm getting it wrong, and I should know what archetype means. Theme? Yeah, I pretty much had it right. Favorite archetype for character? I don't know. I have a good backstory, I guess. Like there's so many bland characters out there. Like have a good character. And I'm trying to think of what a good character is right now. And I'm blanking on it. But what's your favorite game archetype? I like dark themes. Like that's where I thrive. I like actual realistic stories. Not realistic in like it can't have dragons and things like that, but like realistic in like consequences, realistic in like a story. I like good story. That's where I'm at. Next question comes in from Daniel. Hey, are there any advanced tips for organizing ROM and BIOS files on a NAS or storage device, such as naming files, file structure, etc.? I did a whole video on this. It wasn't sexy, but it is a whole video on how to organize your ROM library. That being said, for me, what I do is I have a Z drive, it's named Z. And then there's a ROMs folder. Inside of that ROMs folder is all of the system folders with the emulation station naming convention. Then there's a BIOS folder in there as well. And I put all the BIOS files in there. I have it separated in there by like RetroArch, PS2, Switch, and all of that. And then BIOS files inside. And then all of my games are in the system folders. That's really it. The best thing that you can do after you set all of that up is do sharing. So share this folder in Windows. And then on any of your devices, at least for Android or whatever, If you have SMB, which Solid Explorer supports, you can then connect wirelessly and grab all of your files off of that PC without having to go to your computer and connect a USB cable or anything like that. Again, I show all of this in that organization video. I'm almost 100% certain. If I don't, come ping me on the Discord. I'll show you where whatever video I have that on, and we'll talk about it. Next question comes in from Sandpest. Is poutine good or nah? Nah. Next question comes in from Carlover. What do you think of the Furious SU10? It's a wheel. It's like a wheel retro handheld. No. Next question comes in from Raph. How do you feel about Joeyverse happening in the Discord right now? For anybody that doesn't know, there's a lot of people copying my name on the Discord and making up different funny titles of my name. It's a little confusing when people are trying to ping me and they're pinging others and are like, you see like a chat of like 10 Joeys and you're like, what's going on here? It's a little confusing. Next question comes in from iChihuahua. Great to see you back. Any chance of a console launcher setup guide? So good thing you asked. I was working on a Cocoon setup guide before I went away. But a month later now, I'm going to wait for the next big update at this point. Like I was all in on that. I was working on it. Like game native, Cocoon, MEOS, all of that. I had to sideline all of it. So to answer your question, console launcher and Cocoon, I am waiting for the next big update and then I'll do an actual video on it. Doesn't really make sense for me to do it now. These things change so quickly. If I do a video right now in the middle of an update, then in like 2 weeks, it's going to annoy me when they release another update and it changes everything. So going to wait for another big update and then I'll do some guides on those. Plus, I'm kind of tired of front ends right now. Like I really don't want to deal with a front end video at the moment. So give me some time and then when there's a big update, I'll do one. Next question comes in from Sir Andrew. Did you apply to any jobs during your hiatus? If so, what are they? Yeah, I mentioned in my video I did. They were customer success manager, customer service manager type jobs. Not customer service as in, hi, it's Joey from Rogers. It is more of like software as a service, customer service, customer success, where basically you are managing existing clients that have signed up for whatever program or whatever service that the company is offering. That is more in line with what I used to do as a software as a sales type person. But yeah, that was kind of what I was looking towards, was just give me something that I could do for 8 hours and not care about it afterwards, was the type of job I was looking for. Because that's it. I didn't want to bring work home for me. Sales sucks. Sales absolutely sucks. Never want to go back to sales. So yeah, that's what I was looking at. Next question comes in from Grathnor. If you could smuggle one thing into prison, what would it be? I would smuggle you in, Grathnor. Next question comes in from Sir Andrew. What is your progression status on RetroAchievements? How many unfinished and mastered games do you have on record? 2 or 3 mastered games. I don't master games. That's not what I'm looking to do on RetroAchievements. I like RetroAchievements for tracking games I've beaten. I like RetroAchievements for those random pop-ups when you do something in the game and you're like, that was an achievement? That's pretty cool. I like RetroAchievements for finding out things in games that I didn't know existed. And I've brought up many examples in the past of like, I didn't know you can go from one end to the other in Viridian Forest without triggering a single Pokemon encounter. That's pretty cool. Or like the treasure chest under Grandma's house in Wind Waker. That's pretty cool. Things like that. So yeah, to answer your question, I think I have like 3 mastered, but I don't really care. Last question of the day comes in from Danica. Hey Joey, I saw you were finally back to making videos on YouTube again. Congratulations and welcome back. Thank you. I don't know if this question will make it to the next newscast. It did, but I'll try anyways. How does it feel to be finally making videos again after not being able to for about a month? Feels weird. I am still not fully back. Like I'm still lazy. Like I've written so many videos in this week, but I haven't filmed many of them. Because I've been so lazy. Like, honestly, I have to go and remember how to set everything up and do everything. Like, even the newscast, I'm pretty sure I screwed something up here. But it feels good, I guess. I wish there was a lot more happening in the scene right now that I could actually make videos on. But it's part of the gig to have to think about what types of videos I want to make and what I want to do. But yeah, so long story short, it feels a little weird. But I'll get back into it. It takes a few days, I think, to get back into the swing of things. And especially now that I'm doing Twitch and YouTube at the same time, it's going to be a little weird, but we'll get there. Thank you to everybody who sends in questions every week. Sorry to everybody else that it was such a long newscast, but hey, it is what it is. Appreciate you all watching, and that's all from me, San Bruno, California.